Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm doing another cooking video today. We're going to be making homemade chicken parm. We're going to start with some homemade sauce, and we're going to make some fettuccine Alfredo with homemade Alfredo sauce, and then we're going to have some garlic bread. So we're also going to have with the Alfredo, I'm going to be making spaghetti squash with it, because I need some lower carb stuff. So stay tuned, and I will be right back. All right, so I'm back. What I've done is I'm preparing the veggies for my sauce. I have here some tomatoes, some green and orange sweet pepper, a bunch of cloves of garlic, and some onion. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take some olive oil, because as it's cooking, it's going to have to cook in something. So, I didn't measure, but I added about probably a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of olive oil, which is all I have. Well, almost all I have. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add some Italian seasoning as well. And I'm going to add a little bit of salt. And at the end, I'm going to add some other stuff to it. Once it's thoroughly cooked, we're gonna make it. It's going to be a chunky, homemade, like a red sauce, like a chunky, like a spaghetti sauce. So what we're going to do is I'm going to post the recipe here. I'm going to show you the recipe. And on my first video, I thought it was backwards because it looked backwards to me, but it turned out that it was actually right. But I'm going to flash this recipe in front of your face, and what we'll do is, like I said, I'll go through each step of the recipe, and then I'll kind of talk through it. But then I stop the video and I'll go to the next segment. And granted, some time will pass, but it'll look on the video like it's almost instant. So anyway, this is the recipe for the homemade sauce. Hopefully you can see it. I'm going to hold it up here for a second. All right. What I didn't put on there is you get all your veggies, you put some Italian seasoning, you put your salt. I know it says sugar in there. Don't put the sugar in yet. But you're going to roast this at 400 degrees for about 45 minutes. And then we're going to go from there, okay? We want these veggies to get cooked. We want them to get soft. And then we're going to do some magic with them, all right? All right, I'll be back. I'm going to put this in the oven, 400 degrees, 45 minutes. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. To you guys, you're just going to see this. Actually, some time has passed, but I really never left. So what I'm doing right now is I'm preparing my chicken. I'm doing my egg wash, and I have my coating mix over here. I'm going to give you the recipes for that. Right now I'm mixing up, like I said, I'm mixing up my egg wash. And I'm using, for the chicken parm, I'm using some thighs that I bought. You can use chicken breasts. Most people use chicken breasts. I just happen to like chicken thighs because, one, I like dark meat, and two, they're easier. And if you don't feel like taking the extra time, I would recommend buying like boneless, skinless thighs, or boneless, skinless breast. However, what I bought, because it's cheaper in today's economy, we need to save a buck. So I bought the chicken thighs with the bones in, and I just deboned them. And then what you're going to want to do as well, you're going to want to tenderize them. I think I showed you that in a previous video. And actually, while I'm at it, I'm going to show you something. You're going to want a handy dandy tool like this. What you do is you put your meat down, put like a rag or like a wax paper or something, and then you pound it out to tenderize it. It makes a world of difference when you're eating it, because especially for chicken breast, there's no fat in it. So chicken breast just cooked as is real tough. So you're going to want one of these if you don't have one. And there's a million different versions. Actually, one time I actually washed a regular like carpenter hammer. I washed it and then I used that to pound out some meat I was trying to tenderize. So get you one of these. I've already done that. So basically all I got to do is dip it in my egg wash, dip it in my egg wash and my panko breadcrumb breading mix, and then I'm going to stick it in the oven. Hold on a second. I'm using, like I said, I'm using thighs. And by the way, I wash my hands a million times a day. So just so you know, go into the egg wash. You don't need to, just so you know, this doesn't need to be some kind of perfect. I would say dip it in the egg wash, dip it in the thing. You can do it with your hands. You can do it. I recommend, if you wash your hands, just do it with your hands. I mean, that's up to you. But I promise you, I'm not doing it with unwashed hands. There's no. Also, this, just to tell you, I'm gonna cook these thighs at 400, the same that I cooked that I'm making the spaghetti with, the spaghetti sauce. I mean, and that's still actually going right now in the oven. But I'm gonna cook that at 400 for about 40 minutes, and then we'll see. And how you know if they're done, I recommend, like, before you take them out, because nobody wants to eat raw chicken. Before you take them out, I would recommend like cutting into one and making sure there's no pink in there, because you do not want to eat raw chicken. One, it'll get you sick, and two, it doesn't taste very good. As far as this pan is concerned, I just used a cookie sheet that I'm going to cook them on. And what I did, because I don't like doing dishes afterward, although I am a husband, my wife will tell you, I am a husband who actually does help with the dishes. I don't know about y'all that are reading this, but I do help with the dishes. I do try to actually do my own dishes. What I did is I took a cookie sheet and I put some aluminum foil on there, and then I sprayed it with like some cooking oil, like some of the spray, like Parm or whatever. I use the Cheapy Save a Lot brand because I'm cheap, period. So what I did is I just put that, get my chicken. I'm gonna like I said, I'm gonna egg wash it, bread it, and again, I mean, if you look, it's not perfect, and I say this, and I probably will say this in every video I do. You got all these cooks out today that say, oh, you know, it's all about presentation. No, it isn't. I've ate some pretty food that tasted horrible. I say, if the people eating it don't care what it looks like, or if they care too much what it looks like, look, make themselves a peanut butter sandwich or something, because I'm not. I mean, I try to present my stuff well, but that's the lowest thing on my list is presentation. So don't worry if it looks pretty. Some of the best food I've ever had hasn't been pretty. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid don't be worried. You know, there's and I mentioned this before too. The Gordon Ramsays of the world will say, oh, that looks terrible. You know, that's whatever. I don't even think that guy's a great cook myself. But anyway, I digress. So I'm almost done with my chicken. And like I said, I egg wash. And then egg wash and then the panko breadcrumb breading mix. And I'm just kind of coating them, tossing around in here. You can do it however you want. Sometimes, and I'll tell you, I've done this too. Get yourself like a gallon size, like a Ziploc bag, like a freeze bag or whatever, one of those storage bags. Put your panko stuff in there, and do like a little shake and bake, if you will. I'm gonna go rinse off my hands, so I'm still gonna be on the video. I'm gonna rinse off my hands, and I'm gonna flash you the recipe for the coating mix and for the egg wash, and I'll be right back. Hold on a second. So this here is my recipe for the coating mix, as well as for the egg wash. I'm going to leave it here for a second if you're looking, and you can just pause the video if you'd like. That's fine. And here's another thing I'll say. You know, my recipe isn't king. What I mean by that, and to be honest, no recipe is king. If you want to change the recipe and want to make it like you got a better idea, hey, by all means go for it. Because cooking is not about like getting everything right or doing it how somebody else is doing it. I think cooking, for myself anyway, is about making it your own and create something that you think is gonna taste good. When I cook, I tell you, I try to taste things in my head because I want to know what I'm cooking, and I not only want to enjoy it, but I want others to enjoy it too. So there's been times where I've changed my own recipes, and I'm just saying, don't take my recipe with a grain of salt. I mean, there are things that you're going to need in there, but if you want to tweak it, you go right ahead. And actually, if you do make this and you do tweak it, let me know what you did, because I'm excited. Maybe I can learn. Look, I'm never going to be at a point where I can't learn or don't want to learn something, especially when it comes to food. I mean, I didn't get fat for nothing, so I like to cook and I like to eat and I like new ideas. So anyway, this is going to go in the oven, and then we'll come back with the next big thing. So I'll be right back. All right, welcome back to my little micro kitchen. I have a very, very, very small kitchen. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm making some Alfredo sauce, because we're going to have, on the side of the chicken parm, we're going to have some chicken, some Alfredo fettuccine. And I've already assembled my ingredients. So I'm kind of making the sauce right now. And I have it where I've put all the ingredients in there, and I also I'm just waiting for it to heat, and I'm waiting for it to thicken, because I've got some thickener in there. I have some flour in there, and I also have some cheese that I put in there. And the cheese will melt and act as a help for the thickening agent, and it will be pretty good. So right now, like I said, I'm going to tell you this: if you are making this, you have to stir this constantly, because if you don't, the thickener in there, the flour. If you've ever made gravy, imagine you're making like a milk gravy. That's basically all Alfredo sauce is. It's like a garlic Parmesan milk gravy. As far as the ingredients, you just throw them all in there and you slowly heat them. I've got it kind of high, but I would probably cook it about medium high, and then hold on. I would cook it about medium high, and then, but I would stir it constantly. And you will know right away when it thickens, because you'll feel it thicken. You'll feel it as you're stirring it. You may not understand this now, but you will totally understand once it does what it does. Like right now, you can't really see, but it's already starting to thicken. I may have to actually add some stuff to it because it's not as thick as I really want it to be, but that's okay, because if you have to add more stuff to it, you can. That's not a big deal. So right now it's bubbling. So I don't know if you can see this, but it's bubbling. So it's kind of thickening up. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this every video. When you're doing this, taste it, because don't just take it for granted. Because I might tell you to put too much salt in it. I might tell you to put not enough in it. It might be terrible. So please, as you're cooking, taste it. Granted, don't use the same spoon, well, I don't know, whatever. Nobody's going to know. Your family won't know unless they're standing there watching over you. But just make sure that you taste what you're cooking, because that way you will know whether it's good or not. And if it doesn't taste good to you, it's not going to taste good to the people that you're serving it to, be it your family or your friends or whoever you want to impress. I'm actually taking some of this to my boss tomorrow, so we'll see. I may get fired tomorrow. All right, I'll be right back. I just wanted to post my Alfredo sauce recipe here. I'm going to leave it here for a second and to show you. And again, my recipe can be changed. What I'm saying is I would taste it, and for instance, I'll tell you, this recipe I had to add a little bit more garlic because I like it really garlicky. So I added a little bit more garlic, and I added a little bit more salt because it was a little bland. But whatever you want to do, you are totally welcome to do it. So this is my Alfredo recipe. The next video we're going to come and start putting stuff together, okay? All right, I'll be back. Next part of the video, sorry. It's going to seem seamless to you guys, I think. All right, hello again. Now we're going to be making the garlic bread with my homemade garlic butter. And I'm going to start here. I'm going to start with giving you the recipe because I almost forgot the last thing. So I'm going to show you the recipe. So it's some of the best garlic bread you'll ever have. I mean, if you want, you can go to the store and buy the frozen garlic bread. That's fine with me, or the garlic sticks or whatever. But I will say, you try this garlic bread with the garlic butter. You try this, you're going to like it, and your family will love it. Usually, when we make this, and we don't even make garlic bread just for spaghetti. We'll make it for soup. If we're having soup, we'll make it with like a meal. We'll make garlic bread with it because everybody likes it. There's usually none left. People are fighting for the last piece. So I showed the ingredients. I got all my stuff here. My butter, my paprika. Let me say something about this. So I put in the recipe, I put paprika. And people might say, why in the heck would you put paprika in garlic bread? Well, I have never seen it on any recipe thing ever, anywhere. However, I tried it one time. I just was like, you know what, I wonder what that would be like. And I tried it. Actually, if you can see, I have way too big of a bowl here for this, for the amount of stuff that I have here. Anyway, back to paprika. I put some in here, put some in my garlic bread one time, and I'll tell you what, it was, first of all, it gave it a cool color. As you can see, it's kind of gives it kind of an orange color. However, it not only that, but it just added this extra flavor. Now, if you want to leave the paprika out, you can. Like I said, anything that you want to do, I feel like Bob Ross of cooking. Whatever you want to do in your own little world. But anything that if you want to do it without the paprika, you're not going to hurt anything at all. But I'm telling you, just take my word for it. The paprika, however you want to pronounce it, in your garlic bread is going to be good. You will enjoy it. If you don't, double your money back, okay? But what I'm doing, I'm thoroughly mixing my ingredients into my butter. So basically, I mean, to make the garlic bread, some people, my mom used to make garlic bread, and basically what she did, she put butter and garlic salt on it. If you want to do it that way, that's absolutely fine with me. You do you. But I've always liked doing things my way. I don't like to be the guy that just like, I don't like to stick to the complete recipe. I like to create. So I did it, and this is the only garlic bread that I really like. So anyway, I'm gonna put this aside here. I got like a cheapy loaf of Italian bread at Walmart. It was $1.47. I don't know what it is where you are. You know, it might, different areas of the country might be different prices. But what I do is I just cut it. And again, I'll say this. You can do this however you want. Personally, for me, I like thick pieces. I like a good thick piece of garlic bread with my dinner. So, but again, you do you. You do whatever you feel like doing. It's basically about your taste buds and what you want to eat. Sometimes though, depending on the size of the loaf of bread, you may need to make more butter. That's, you know, that is, you know, you'll find out. You know, sometimes you run out of butter. I just kind of, and yes, your eyes are not fooling you. I'm buttering it with a spoon. Why? Because I can. And you can't stop me. Okay? I'm just kidding. But I'm going to butter this bread. And I'm putting it, just so you know, I'm putting this on thick. I like, because it sinks down into the bread, and it gives, I mean, have you ever had garlic bread where you just have this little top layer of stuff, and it's just like, oh, yuck. You know, I mean, it's good, but it's like you wish there was a little bit more. Well, when you spread the stuff on thick, you find that the flavor gets deeper and you enjoy it more. So I'm spreading my orange paprika garlic butter. Trust me, you will like it. I promise you, you will like it. And if you get on here and you make this and you don't like it, let me know. I mean, that's fine with me. But if you do like it, tell me I was right, or if you don't like it, tell me why I was wrong. That's okay, because I don't mind personally. I value what I cook, but so I don't mind a little bit of constructive criticism. So you guys are perfectly allowed to say, hey, dude, you know, that wasn't any good. And here's the thing. You see how I got this? It looks a little sloppy. And that's okay too. Like I said, I don't care about presentation, because once this stuff cooks, it's gonna get into the bread, it's gonna get into the crust. It's really, really, really good. And you're not gonna be sorry that you had it. And this too, this butter, you know, you don't have to cook the bread to have like buttered bread with this this butter is good on just a plain old piece of bread. In fact, while I'm sitting, well, maybe not while I'm sitting here, but I'm probably going to take a piece of this and eat it with some butter without it being like cooked in the oven. So I'm going to finish buttering my garlic bread here. And I'll tell you this too. When I'm done, I don't spare. I go on thick because it's good. Trust me. Once you taste it, you're gonna want to do that. You're gonna want to go thick. And well, they say go big or go home. So you're gonna want that. I almost licked my fingers. I didn't. I promise. But I'm gonna show you one more thing that I'm gonna do. Get you before you put it in, and you're going to bake this at 350 for about 10-15 minutes. So before you put it in the oven, well, I got to get my cheese to come out here, but just take some Parmesan. Trust me, you won't be sorry that you did this either. Trust me, this is going to be, if you make this is going to be a hit at your house. People are going to be asking you to make garlic bread just for the heck of it. And you know what? I ain't going to lie. I've done it before. I just made some garlic bread because I felt like making garlic bread. Also with this, just tell you, you can take this bread, and this is what I've done too. I've taken this bread, I made the garlic butter, I threw some mozzarella cheese on there, and I threw some pepperoni on there, and I put it under the broiler and had little toasted pizzas. So that's an idea you can do as well. But we're going to bake this about 10 to 15 minutes in the oven at 350. And honestly, if you get like 10 minutes and it looks like it's good and done, you can take it out. But I'm going to say 10 to 15 minutes. Ovens vary different. You know, ovens vary. So for me, it's about, for my oven at least, it's like 15 minutes because I got a crappy oven. Well, you saw earlier when I made the Alfredo sauce, I got this little stove and it's like a no-frills stove. But my oven takes longer for whatever reason. In fact, my tomatoes and stuff for my sauce is still cooking, so it's not quite done yet. But anyway, put this in 350, 10 to 15 minutes. We're going to be back, and should be that I'm going to be pretty much done at that point. So, all right, I will be back soon. Oh, I'm going to show you how to make the sauce. Sorry, that's the next thing on the list. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so I've taken my roasted tomatoes and garlic and onions and peppers and everything, and this is what it looks like coming out of the oven. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a food processor, and I'm going to puree this. I'm just going to pulse it. I'm not going to I don't want like super liquid. I still want this chunky, so I'm going to put it in the food processor and I'm going to pulse it. Or if you want it even a little bit more chunky, or if you don't have a food processor, take a potato masher and just kind of boom, 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 boom. Because actually that's kind of the best way to do it. I'm just going to use a food processor because I can, because it's convenient for me. But if you want, you can take like a potato masher and mash this stuff up if they're soft enough. So it's gonna, and I've heard people say this on cooking shows, but if you could only smell this, oh my goodness, when you cook it, you'll smell it, and you're in trouble as soon as you smell it because you're like, I want some. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna process this, get it a little chunky, and then I'm gonna add some tomato paste, and I put in the recipe some water or some tomato juice. I don't have tomato juice, but I do have water. So what that is for is once I put the tomato juice, or once I put the tomato paste in, I'm going to be stirring it and I'm going to be heating it again. And sometimes it gets too thick. So you're going to want to add maybe some tomato juice, and you're going to want to add, or some water just for thinning. You may use it all. You may use, none of it. You might just like a real thick, chunky, basically chunky vegetables on top of your chicken parm, and that's okay too. But again, the water or the tomato juice is basically for the thinning it out a little bit if needed, okay? So when I come back, I will have this all mashed up, and I will have it in a pot, and I will be adding my tomato paste, and I'll be checking it and then adding my water if I need to. Okay? All right, I'll be right back. So guess what? I'm here and I'm with my sauce, and I polished it. I got it to the right thickness that I like, and to be honest, there's plenty of sauce here. I don't need the one reason I wanted to add the tomato paste was because I figured maybe there wouldn't be enough to cover what I'm going to use. But actually, the recipe without the tomato paste or the water, I mean, look at this. Look at this. It's really chunky. It's really good. I will say that I did add some salt to it, and I added a little bit of sugar. But and honestly, when you do it, here, let me move this down a little bit so you can see. When you do it, you can make it however you want. So you can make it salty. You can put no salt in it if you want. Just have the natural flavor. But I got to tell you, it turned out really, really, really good. It's a really good sauce. It's not sweet and it's not salty. It's absolutely perfect, and it's pretty good. And I'll tell you, I don't have a lot of talent, but I give God credit for it, because whatever I can do, it's the Lord who helps me. But here's my sauce, and then the next thing I'm going to show you, we're gonna melt some cheese onto our chicken parm, and then we're gonna sauce it, and we're gonna cook it, and then I'm gonna present it. So I'm coming right back. All right, we're back. I got my chicken here. The chicken, it has a nice color to it. It's done. It took a little longer in my oven, but I'm gonna stick with my times, because as I said earlier, my oven is I got this junky little stove. Granted, I'm thankful for it. It works, but my oven takes longer. So what I'm gonna do, what I had, my wife made sliders this week, and I had some sliced mozzarella that I was gonna use, but she used it in the sliders. So I thought, oh well, I'll just make do. I have some shredded mozzarella here. And again, you can put as much or as little cheese on there as you want. But the idea is we're gonna melt some cheese on top of this chicken. The chicken is already cooked. The only thing we're putting it in here for is we're gonna melt this cheese on here, and it's gonna look really, really nice. Okay. So, and then while I got these in here melting, I'm gonna start cooking my bread. Okay, and then because I turned my oven down to 350, and as you can see, here's my bread. My bread's going in right now at 350, and then I'm gonna melt this cheese on here, and we're gonna go from there, and then. After that, all I got to do is present. Oh, well, the only thing that I do have to do, which I really don't need to show you. I mean, you guys can do this. I trust that you guys can do this. Is to cook your fettuccine. By the way, I was gonna cook a spaghetti squash and make see, I have it here. I was going to do it, but I don't really have the time to do it. So I'm just going to eat the fettuccine, but I have my Alfredo sauce in here. Anyway, I said all that to say this. When you cook your fettuccine, when you cook it, I would recommend, you do what you want, but I would recommend cooking it al dente, okay? I would recommend cooking it al dente. That's what that means is, well, I don't know exactly what it means, but what I understand it to mean is cook it to where it's got a little chew on it, that it's not hard, but it's not like wet noodle type consistency. Cook it to where it's got a little chew on it, and then add it to your Alfredo sauce. You can see I got my sauce right here. The sauce, unbelievable. It just turned out better than I even expected without the tomato paste. So I'm putting my chicken in here just to melt the cheese. All right, I'll be back. All right, here we are. We have the finished product. I made some frozen California mix to go with the meal. This is our chicken with the sauce, with the homemade sauce. We got these. I just again, they were Walmart California mix, and these are Alfredo noodles. And this is what it looks like then when it's done. It may not be the prettiest thing, however, it's going to taste really, really good. And I hope that if you guys do it, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope that you take the time to let me know in the comments on the post that how you did it and what you did, and if you did anything differently. I would like to know. So anyway, my second cooking video. Hope you enjoyed it. All right, bye. I'm Mangia Bella. That's what they say in Italian, I think. All right. See ya.